There's something about watching a father talk about his son's fight that just silences everything else around it. Bradley Walsh has spent decades making people laugh. He's the kind of television presence that feels like a warm cup of tea on a gray morning. Familiar, comfortable, always there. But when the conversation shifted to Barney, his son, and what the Walsh family has been quietly navigating behind the scenes, something in the studio felt different. Heavier. More real than the usual morning television rhythm allows. And viewers noticed it immediately. Bradley didn't break down. He didn't reach for dramatic pauses or lean into the emotion the way a lesser storyteller might. What made the moment land so hard was precisely how steady he tried to be, and how clearly that steadiness was costing him something. You could see it in the careful way he chose his words. The slight hesitation before certain sentences. The warmth in his eyes that never quite matched the composed expression he was holding together for the cameras. That tension between a father's fear and a public figure's composure is where the Walsh story lived. What the doctors have apparently been telling the Walsh family is something that sounds, on the surface, like progress. Barney's response to his cancer treatment is described as increasing, improving, building, moving in a direction that carries hope in it. And yet there's something almost cruel about the language of serious illness, isn't there? The way hope arrives in fragments. The way you hold a piece of good news and still can't fully exhale, because the battle isn't finished, and everyone in that family knows it. Bradley Walsh has always been someone who carries his emotions quietly. He loves Barney deeply, that's never been a secret. The pride he's shown in his son over the years, the way he's brought him into his professional world, the visible joy whenever their relationship is part of any conversation. It tells you everything about how central Barney is to his life. So when that relationship becomes the backdrop for something as frightening as a cancer diagnosis, you feel the weight of it differently. This wasn't just a celebrity health update. This was a father speaking about his child. And that distinction matters enormously. What many viewers picked up on, and what began spreading through comment sections almost immediately, was the emotional restraint Bradley maintained throughout. There's a particular kind of bravery in that restraint. Choosing to share something this personal on morning television, in front of millions of people, and still holding yourself together enough to speak clearly about it, that takes something. It's not distance. It's not coldness. It's a very specific kind of love that refuses to fall apart, because falling apart doesn't help the person you're fighting for. Some people watching may have interpreted that composure as strength. Others may have felt it made the moment even more quietly devastating, because you could sense what was being held back beneath the surface of every careful sentence. The social media reaction reflected exactly that duality. Viewers weren't just moved by the news itself. They were moved by him. By the version of Bradley Walsh that rarely gets airtime, not the game show host, not the entertainer, but the father sitting in a television studio talking about the most terrifying chapter of his family's life with extraordinary grace. There's something about the Good Morning Britain studio, at its best, that creates space for those moments. The tone shifts. The usual morning pace slows. And suddenly the conversation feels like something that will stay with people long after the channel changes. That's what happened here. Barney Walsh's journey is still ongoing. The doctor's words carry hope, real, measurable hope, and that matters deeply. But what lingered for so many viewers after that segment wasn't only the medical update. It was the image of a father, trying to hold steady, speaking honestly about love and fear in the same breath. What did you notice when you watched that moment? Did the emotion land differently than you expected? Or was there something beneath the surface that stayed with you long after the screen went quiet?